Is protein the most important macronutrient for healthy weight loss? I'm Dr. Brett Scher, the medical director at DietDoctor.com, and I think the answer is probably yes. And notice I said healthy weight loss, not just weight loss. Not all weight loss is the same. You don't want to lose lean muscle mass. You want to lose fat mass. You want to lose weight in a way that promotes metabolic health, that keeps you full so you're not hungry, that is in a lifestyle that you can maintain for years to come, not just days or weeks. And it looks like protein may be the most important ingredient. Now, of course, there's some debate to say the most important. It may be different for different people, but we have more evidence piling up showing how important protein is. So we just wrote a news post at DietDoctor.com about this study published in Nutrients. And what they did was they took 35 people, so not a huge study, but 35 people. They were overweight or obese without diabetes, and they did a crossover study. So they either did 4 weeks on a high protein diet, what they called a high protein diet, so 30% calories from protein, 40% from carbs, and 30% from fat. Or they started off with a low glycemic index diet, which was 20% protein, 50% carbs, but low glycemic index carbs, and 30% fat. So they did one of those diets for 4 weeks, then they had a little washout period, and they crossed over to the other diet. And what they looked at was weight loss, fat mass loss, and metabolic parameters. Now remember, they were only on each diet for 4 weeks, so pretty short term. The other part about these studies where they were purposely calorie restricted to 70% of what their estimated caloric needs were, so a 30% caloric reduction. Now, that's important, and we'll get to that later, that they were sort of matched for calories. And what they found was after the 4 weeks and after the 8 weeks, regardless of which diet you started with, you lost the same amount of weight. And that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to do calorie restriction for 4 weeks, it's going to result in weight loss. And it may not matter how you do it. The difference may be in the long term, which is going to affect your basal metabolic rate, which is going to help with longer term weight loss. That obviously wasn't evaluated in this study. But the difference was, what kind of weight did people lose? And the people who started on the high protein diet lost more fat mass, twice as much fat mass as those who started on the low glycemic index diet. So again, higher protein shows an affinity for helping people lose fat and maintain lean muscle mass. Both groups lost about 4 kilograms or 8.8 pounds the first week and 2 kilograms or 4.4 pounds the second week. What they found was the people who started with the high protein diet lost 10 pounds of fat mass versus 4.8 pounds of fat mass for those who started with the low glycemic index diet. So it gets back to this concept I mentioned in the beginning, healthy weight loss, losing your fat mass, maintaining your lean muscle mass. But here's the other interesting part, and this is where the issue of protein becomes pretty important, because this was a short-term study matched for calories. Well, what's one of the other benefits we know about protein is higher protein diets tend to be naturally lower in calories, that you tend to naturally reduce your caloric intake the more protein you eat because it's more satiating, it's more filling. You hit your nutrient and your protein targets more, so theoretically your body's not searching for more food. It affects your ghrelin and your cholecystokinin, and studies show people eat fewer calories the rest of the day when you have higher protein. So I also want to point out this other trial that was a 12-week trial. The diet was a 50% carbohydrate diet, so again, not low carb, and then either 15% protein or 30% protein. Okay, so the difference then was also the fat. Either it was 15% protein and 35% fat, or 30% protein and 20% fat, okay? But both with 50% carbs. And it was ad libitum. So I hate that word, such an ugly word. But basically, they could eat whatever they want. They could eat as much as they wanted within those parameters. And what they found was those who were on the 30% protein diet ate 440 fewer calories per day, and they lost 3.7 kilograms of fat more than the other group did. So again, it shows if in a free living society, the ad libitum, eat whatever you want, the more protein you eat, the more you naturally reduce your calories and lose more fat mass. Or the other trial I mentioned, when you match for calories and purposely reduce the calories, you may lose the same amount of weight over the short term, but you're going to lose more fat mass with higher protein. Okay, now, what about the carbs? Right? Don't carbs factor in this as well? Well, they probably do. I mean, it certainly makes sense that they would. We have so many studies showing that if you lower your carbohydrate intake, you tend to lose more weight than if you eat higher carbohydrate diets. But again, what's the protein doing? So the majority of the studies that show a randomized trial lowering carbohydrates improves weight loss also increase the protein. The best combination is likely a higher protein, lower carbohydrate diet to help naturally reduce your caloric intake, improve satiety, make sure you're losing fat mass and maintaining muscle mass. To get back to my question in the beginning, is protein the secret to healthy weight loss? I think it probably is. And the secret is higher protein, lower carb. That's where the sweet spot is, I think, for most people for healthy weight loss. And again, healthy weight loss, losing fat mass, maintaining muscle mass, not reducing your basal metabolic rate in an unhealthy way, making sure you feel full and satiated, enjoying your meal, and a pattern that you can maintain for the long term that improves your metabolic health, your insulin sensitivity. So those are a lot of factors to consider, but that's what healthy weight loss is, and that's what higher protein, lower carbohydrates diets do. All right, I hope this was helpful. If it was, please click subscribe. Please click the thumbs up. Please leave a comment. That helps other people see these videos if you think it's helpful for you. Hopefully it's helpful for others. And then you'll get all our updates as we post more here on Diet Doctor News on YouTube. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day.